Hi, I'm Barrett Culpepper, and this is Southeast Guitar Repair Academy. Today we're going to be covering classical restrings. So first things first, when you're doing a restring on an instrument, you're not making any adjustments or anything like that. You're literally just taking the old strings off, cleaning it up, tighten some of the hardware, condition the fingerboard, put the new strings on, stretch them into them. Classical is a little different as far as the way you tie the strings on around the bridge and the way they go on around the tuners as well. So we're going to cover all that real quick. All right, so first you're going to want to remove the old strings. These are already off. This came in without any strings on it. So then you're going to go through, we're going to polish the fret wire, we're going to clean up the body. Same as usual, you're going to polish your frets out. Keep in mind this isn't taking any material off, it's just cleaning them up, getting all the tarnish and all the gunk off of them. Making it so you have a nice smooth playing surface there. And then same as always, you want to air chuck off the body to get rid of any steel wool bits that might be on there after you polish your frets. And on the classicals and acoustics as well, I like to go ahead and take the air chuck to the sound hole too. A lot of times you get a lot of hair and dust down in there. Remember to use your fret guard so you don't scratch up the fingerboard at all. And when you come down to the body, try to keep your fingers off the body as well, because you don't want any steel wool getting underneath your fingers and scratching up the top. So you got your frets polished up. You just want to air chuck the body and the sound hole as well. Get any dust out of the way before you actually spray the instrument down. You don't scratch anything up. There you go. So you just want to spray her down real quick. Give her a good once over. Use any polish. We use the Dunlop stuff, 65. Found it works really good. And typically you want to use, you can feel your paper towels. Sometimes you can use the Vivas. They're really light, really soft and smooth. But on your paper towel itself, you can usually feel there's a kind of a rough side and a soft side. I always want to use the soft side, obviously. I'm just going to get off any gunk or buildup or anything. Make sure she's nice and clean. If the fretboard were all gunked up at this point in time, you'd do the magic eraser trick with a little bit of water in the magic eraser. This one's actually pretty clean. We're just going to give her a little wipe down. All right, we just give her a good once over real quick. Now you want to go through, put a little bit of lubricant in your tuners. And then give them just a little tighten, just a little snug turn with the screwdriver to make sure everything's nice and solid. Now remember, you don't want to crank the screw on the side down. You're just ever so lightly turning it to make sure that it's snug. Just barely giving it a little pressure. These all look pretty good. Sometimes these screws come loose and the gear will come off. That's no good. As you tighten lube up the tuners, remember we luminol our fingerboard because it's an open wood, it's not finished. And wood is hydroscopic, so it's always taking on and letting out moisture throughout the seasons. So if it gets too dry, you will get fret sprout. You'll start to feel sharp fret ends. You can actually kind of feel them a little bit on this one. We're just doing the restring on this though. We're not doing any fret end soften or anything like that. I just want to wipe it on there and wipe off all the excess. You want to come through and graphite the nut slots. Just put a little graphite down your nut slot with your mechanical pencil. This is so the string stays lubricated through the nut slot and glides very easily as you're tuning up and down. Classical strings take a while to tune, so they take a little while to settle in because they're nylon, but you'll see that. So now she's ready for strings. Everything's been cleaned, polished, prepped, tightened, oiled. We're gonna do a close-up down here at the bridge because first thing you do is you're gonna be tying your strings on. So when I say that, I'm just talking about the bridge. We're not tying any knots or anything like that. On the classicals, what we like to do in the shop, there's a few different ways to string them, but what we do is we do them in two, and two. Now when I say that, the E and the A get one wind, one wrap around and then back down under the string, and then the D and the G get two, and then the B and the E get three, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. So your classical string should tell you which string is which. They got the little tag on them. So you're going to come in from the sound side, you're going to pull your string out a little bit, you're going to come back around and you're going to wrap it through the string on the back end of it. So you want to try to keep your string wraps down here on the bottom. And you're just going to want to give it a little tug. Make sure everything's in there nice and snug, and then keep it tight and come up to the tuner. So the classical, what you're going to want to do is these two outsides, the two E's are going to be wound to the outside. All the others are going to be wound to the inside because you want that string to come off and come straight to the tuner as possible. So you're going to want to measure about 3.5 tuner lengths, and then you're going to go ahead and cut that off. Then you're going to feed your string in, and basically the same as we do the other restrings or anything like that. You're going to go one on one side and the rest of the winds on the other side. So you're going to want to stick it out just a little bit, leave some hanging out, and then come back to the other side. And there you go. So this is going to be wrapped to the outside. These are going to all be wrapped to the inside. This one is going to look just like this one. So now for your A string, for all the strings as you go from here on out, they're all going to be wrapped up underneath each other. So you'll see what I mean. So you're going to come through and you're going to lift this string up, and that's going to be wrapped right around. The string's going to look just like the E. You're going to come back down around the back end and feed it back through. Keep that on the back end of the bridge. Pull it tight. Then come up. You're going to want to measure about 3.5, almost 4 tuner lengths. You're going to cut your string. And now this one's going to be wound to the inside. So one wind to the outside and the rest to the inside. And as you see, as we do that, our string's coming pretty fairly straight off of the nut, straight back to the tuner itself. So, like I said, this is how we do it in the shop. Some people like to do 3 wraps for each individual string and cut it off. I found this helps them stay on here a lot more secure whenever you go this route. So on this one, same, pick your strings up. You're gonna wrap this one around. You're gonna give yourself a little bit extra length on this one because you're actually gonna go around twice. So there's one, and I'm gonna feed it through. You're not going around this part of the string twice, you're going around this part of the string twice. So that's 1, and then 2. And same as the rest, you want that wrap to be done on the back end. Pull the string tight. Come up to the tuner. You're going to count about 3.5 to 4 tuner lengths. Feed the string through. 1 line to this side, the rest to the inside, because we want to keep that break angle fairly straight. See, now we're starting to come out a little bit, but still, since we're staying to the inside, it's lessening the break angle from the edge of the nut, from the side to side of the nut. So like I said in the beginning, we're doing our 2, 2, and 2. And that's 1 wrap, 2 wraps, 3 wraps. So same, coming through, lift your string up, give yourself a little bit extra length, come back around, wrap it once, you can see, sorry, wrap it twice, and then on the second one, bring it down to the back end there, right in there. Now you're not going to feed all of your strings underneath each one from beginning to end. You're just going to have a couple here, a couple in a row to kind of secure that string from going anywhere. Now these are nylon core, so they actually grip into the tuners fairly well. On the nylon, plain nylon strings, typically you would want to feed it through the tuner hole 1 extra time to kind of secure the string. So we're going to measure 3.5 to 4 tuners lengths. Cut it. We're going to feed it in, and then we're going to come back up around with just the tip of it and bring it back into the hole. You're just barely coming out the other side, and you can go ahead and pull it tight. See how that's nice and secure? It's not pulling out at all. The nylon have a tendency to slip out of the tuner. That's why you do it that way. So one to the outside, the rest to the inside. So now these are the 2, 3 wrap. So you have your 1, 2, 3. But same as the other ones, you're just increasing the amount of wraps you put at the base of the string. So you're gonna give yourself a little bit more room this time. You're gonna come up 1, 2, and 3. On your third one, you're down here on the back end, right in there. Pull it tight. Come up to the tuner. 4, probably about 4. You want a little bit more length since you're feeding the string through a second time. Just come back around, and you're just going to bring the tip down in and just hold it right on the other end, and then you can pull this nice and tight there. And you wind it on. One on the outside, rest on the inside. See, it's not slipping or anything. It's sitting exactly where we want it. Now, on the high E, the same as what you did with the B, you're gonna do 3 wraps. A little extra room. Up it once, twice, and 3 times. Securing that back in on the bottom. Get all your strings together in the bunch. Come up to the tuners. Measure about 4 tuners lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then same as you did on the G and the B, you're going to come back through again. Just bring the tip in. Hold it on the other side, then you can pull this nice and snug. Now remember what we said at the beginning, the 2 E's get wound to the outsides. So these go to the insides, as you can see, these 2 will go to the outsides. Keep that nice break angle off the nut. One come on the outside, the inside, the rest of the outside. Now we have our strings on. Now before you cut this excess down here at the bridge or any excess string you have sticking out on the tuners, we're going to tune it to pitch and make sure there's no more room for the strings to slide through anywhere and settle in. Now on the classicals, like I said a minute ago, they take a long time to settle in. You can tune them up by hand, or you can use your drill and get there a little bit faster. Now don't get frustrated when you're trying to tune them up. These strings will be out of tune in about 30 seconds after I'm finished tuning it. The reason is because they're nylon, they take a long time to settle in. They take about 2 weeks to fully settle in and hold their tune. Normally you see that we just stretch them and tune them, stretch them and tune them, 2 or 3 times and everything holds tune and is nice and solid, but the nylon, the material of the string is still stretching for quite some time. So it takes them just a little bit. Every time you pick up your classical after you put new strings on there, it's gonna be a little out of tune. Which is fine, just tune it right up. Pretty close. So once you get everything up to pitch and it seems to be holding, your strings aren't really moving anymore. They're not moving at the tuners or not moving at the bridge. It's just the material of the string itself kind of settling in. Extra string lengths you have here, you can go ahead and you can cut those off. And then you can come up to the tuners. If you got any extra string, I probably wouldn't cut it completely off. I'd probably leave just a little bit in there, just to give them time to move some. And that's it. That's how you restring a classical. Now you are ready to rock and roll.